Algebra 1. We're going to be doing lesson 69, which is factoring trinomials, and we're going to start on page 280. Okay, a little review. Monomials are single expressions with one term. For example, 4, 6x squared, negative 2 times x to the 15th, or 4.163x to the 4th. Those are all one terms, so they're monomials. A binomial is the sum of two monomials. So we would have 4x squared plus 3, or minus 2x minus 3. Those would be binomials. A trinomial is the sum of three monomials. For example, 4x squared plus 2x plus 2. Okay? We've already done multiplying binomials. We've done it in two different ways. We can do it vertically with one on top of the other. So to do this, we would do 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. 3 times x is 3x. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. And x times x is x squared. So we x squared minus 3x minus 18. Or we did it the FOIL way. So we multiply the firsts and we get x squared. We multiply the outers, which is 3x. We multiply the inners, which is negative 6x. And we multiply the lasts, which also equals x squared minus 3x minus 18. So when we multiply binomials, we end up with a trinomial. This form of trinomial is called a quadratic trinomial. Quadratic tells us that the highest exponent is a square. Here's x squared. So today we're going to start working with quadratic trinomials, and we're going to factor back to two binomials. Here are a few things to notice before we start. The first term of the trinomial is the product of the first two terms of the binomials. So the first two terms of the binomials are x and x times x is x squared. Okay? The last term in the trinomial is the product of the last terms of the binomials. Negative 6 times 3 equals negative 18. The coefficient of the middle term of the trinomial, so in this case the coefficient is negative 3, is the sum of the last two terms of the binomial. So we have negative 6 and 3. Negative 6 plus positive 3 is negative 3. Okay? If all the signs in the trinomial are positive, then all the signs in both the binomials are going to be positive. So this trinomial has all positives. So if we factored this trinomial into two binomials, this would be a positive, this would be a positive, and both x's would be positive. If a negative sign appears, at least one of the signs in the binomial is a negative. So here we actually have two negatives, and we have one of the binomials is negative and one of them is positive. Let's start with an all positive example and work our way to more complicated examples. So here we have x squared plus 9x plus 18. We know that this is going to factor into two binomials, so we're going to start with two parentheses. Now we're going to look at the first term, x squared. The square root of x squared is x. So x goes into the first term of both binomials. So if we multiplied these binomials together, x times x would equal x squared. Now the product of the last terms in the binomial are going to have to equal 18. And the sum, so this number times this number is going to equal 19, and this number plus this number is going to equal 9. So let's figure out the factors of 18. 18 equals 1 times 18. And if we take the sum of those, 1 plus 18 equals 19. It equals 2 times 9. And 2 plus 9 equals 11. It equals 3 times 6. And 3 plus 6 equals 9. So here we have two numbers that the product of the numbers, 3 times 6 is 18, and the sum of the numbers, 3 plus 6 equals 9. So we're going to be using 3 and 6. So we can put a 3 here and a 6 here. Because all of the signs in the trinomial were positive, then all the signs in the binomials are going to be positive. So the product of these two should equal this. Let's check it and make sure. We have x plus 3 times x plus 6. And we'll do FOIL. So x times x is x squared. X times 6 is 6x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 6 is 18. Which equals x squared plus 9x plus 18. So we were right. Okay, let's go to the next one. We have x squared minus 3x minus 18. All the signs in this trinomial are negative. Okay, we're going to still start with 2 parentheses. Our x squared is going to be x times x, so we'll put 1x here and 1x here. Okay, the product of the last terms is going to be negative 18. So if the product is negative, then one of the numbers we're going to be multiplying is going to be positive and one is going to be negative, right? Okay, so our options are, we can do negative 1 and positive 18. And the sum of that would be 17. We could do 18 and we could do negative 18 and positive 1. And the sum of that would be negative 17. We could do negative 2 times positive 9. The sum of that would be 7. We could do positive 2 and negative 9, and the sum of that would be negative 7. We can do positive 3 and negative 6, and the sum of that would be negative 3. Or we could do negative 3 and positive 6, and the sum of that would be positive 3. Okay, so those are our options for factoring 18. In this case, we want a sum of negative 3, so we're going to go with a positive 3 and a negative a negative 6. So this is going to be x plus 3 and x minus 6. Okay, now we can check this. We've got x plus 3 times x minus 6. X times x is x squared. X times negative 6 is negative 6x. 3 times x is plus 3x. And positive 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. And we simplify this. And there we go. So this is our answer. Okay, let's try another one. In this one, our last term is positive, but our middle term is negative. So the sums are going to be negative, but the product is going to be positive, which means that in our binomials, both of them are going to be negative, because a negative times a negative equals a positive, but a negative plus a negative still equals a negative, right? Okay. So we're going to start here again. We've got x squared, so both of these are going to be an x. We're going to work on factoring 16 in such a way that the sums are negative 8. And we know that they're both going to be negative. So for 16, we've got negative 16 times negative 1. We have negative 2 times negative 8. The sum of that is negative 10. And we have negative 4 times negative 4. And negative 4 times negative 4, negative 4 plus negative 4 is indeed negative 8. So that's what we're going to try. Okay, now we're going to check. Yes, you need to check. We'll do it this way this time, just for fun. Negative 4 times x is minus 4x. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. X times x is x squared. X squared minus 8x plus 16. There we go. So this is your answer. Okay, let's try another one. In this one, both of the terms are negative again. So we know that one of the terms is going to be positive and one of the terms is going to be negative. So we're going to have one positive and one negative. The first term is x squared, so this is going to be x and x. Okay. Our factors of 15 are 3 and 5, or 15 and 1. There's no way you can make 3 and 5 add up to 14, but negative 15 times positive 1, or plus positive 1, would equal negative 14. So this is going to be x plus 1 and x minus 15. And now we'll check. X plus 1, x minus 15. Negative 15 times 1 is negative 15. Negative 15 times x is negative 15x. X times 1 is x. X times x is x squared. And when we add these together, this is negative 15. This is negative 14x. And this is x squared. So this is indeed our correct answer. Okay, let's try another one. Here we have a negative at the end and a positive in the middle. So we know that one is going to be positive and one is going to be negative. Okay, we've got x squared, so this is still going to be x and x. Our options for 10 are 1 and 10, 2 and 5. And we want a positive 3, so if we do positive 5 and negative 2, then 5 minus 2 is 3. So we're going to do a positive 5 and a negative 2. Okay, now we're going to check. X plus 5 times x minus 2. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. 5x times 5 is 5x. X times x is x squared. And that equals out. Okay. Here's another one. Okay, this one is not in our standard form, so our first step is going to be to rewrite it so that our squared exponent is in the front. So to rewrite this, we will just do x squared minus 5x plus 6. And now we go back to where we were. This is positive and this is negative. So both of the terms in the binomials are going to be a negative because a negative times a negative is a positive, but a negative plus a negative is a negative. Okay, we're starting with x squared again. Our options for 6 could be 6 and 1. And if it were 6 minus 1, then we could come up with this, or negative 1 plus 6. But because both of these are negative, we can't use 6 and 1, because negative 6 minus 1 would be negative 7. So let's try again. We can do negative 2 and negative 3. Negative 2 times negative 3 equals positive 6, and negative 2 plus negative 3 equals negative 5. Okay, we're going to check. And it checked out correctly, so these are our correct answers. If when you're doing one of these problems, if you can't take the product of this and make a sum of this, if this had been a negative 4, and there's no way you can get a sum of out of the factors of 6 to make a negative 4. So if that is true, if you cannot find something that meets this, then you can't factor it like this. And next year you'll find out ways that you can factor quadratic equations like this, which will not factor into nice pretty binomials like this. But you do not have to worry about that right now. Okay, that is it for this lesson. Let me know if you have any questions. You can email me or text me anytime. And try the practice problems and the odd problems from this chapter. Thank you.